I'm gonna show to you, my fellow chessers, the chess game between Levon Aronian and Gukesh in St. Louis. Rapid in Blitz 2025, day 1, rapid day 1, round number 1. Hello, my fellow chessers. We're back at it again with another video, my fellow chessers. So let's begin on E4. C6, Karokan defense, D4, D5. This is Karokan defense. It takes D5. C takes D5. So this is Karokan defense, exchange variation, my fellow chessers. Bishop D3 development, my fellow chessers. Knight C6 attacking the pawn on D4, my fellow chessers. C3 defending the pawn on D4, my fellow chessers. Knight F6, Bishop F4 development, my fellow chessers. All right. Bishop G5. Wow, attacking the queen on D1, my fellow chessers. Queen B3 attacking the pawn on B7, my fellow chessers. E5. Wow, sacrifice, my fellow chessers. Wow. H3. Wow. Bishop E3. Why? Why Levon Aronian didn't take the pawn on E5? Like example, D takes E5, and we have knight H5 attacking the bishop on F4. We have bishop E3. Bishop E3 or what? Bishop G. Queen A4, my fellow chessers. Or what? Bishop. Takes, and we have if knight takes F4, and we have take this, and bishop D7. We have queen A6. All right, and then rook B8. The continuation of computer engine, my fellow chessers. Wow. That's why Levon Aronian didn't take the pawn. H3, my fellow chessers, attacking the bishop on G4, my fellow chessers. Bishop E3, E6. Bishop takes E5, knight takes E5, D takes E5, attacking the knight on F6. Knight D7, attacking the pawn on E5, my fellow chessers. Knight F3, defending the pawn on E5. Queen C7, attacking the pawn on E5, my fellow chessers. Castles kingside. Wow, castles kingside. Why? Why Gukesh didn't take the pawn on E5? Example, takes, and we have knight takes E5, and queen takes E5, and we have queen takes B7, as you can see, attacking the rook on A8, my fellow chessers. The continuation of computer engine is rook B8, my fellow chessers. All right, so let's continue the real game, my fellow chessers, which is castle's queenside, right? Castle's queenside, rook E1, defending the pawn on E5. G5, wow, sacrifice. Knight B, D7, why? Why Levon Aronian didn't take the pawn on G5 is take, example, and we have knight takes E5, my fellow chessers, all right? So let's continue the real game, my fellow chessers, which is knight B, D2, H5, knight D4, A6. Why Gukesh didn't take the pawn on E5? Like for example, takes. We have knight B5, my fellow chessers, and queen B8, and we have C4, my fellow chessers. As you can see, very crucial, my fellow chessers, the king of black, my fellow chessers, because the king of black is because the king of black is on the center, my fellow chessers, ready to attack, my fellow chessers. So that's why Gukesh didn't take the pawn on E5, my fellow chessers. So let's go back to the real game, my fellow chessers, which is A6, knight B D2, or knight 2 F3, G4. Mistake of Gukesh, my fellow chessers. The best continuation on this position is rook G8 or G4. or bishop e7. The best continuation is rook g8 to attack this, to create a pressure on this side, my fellow chessers. All right, so let's go back to the real game, my fellow chessers, which is g4, my fellow chessers. All right, g4, knight g5, attacking the bishop on e6, my fellow chessers. All right, knight c5, attacking the queen on b3, at the same time attacking the bishop on d3, my fellow chessers. All right, so queen c2, g takes h3, bishop f5. Good move of Aronian, my fellow chessers. All right, wow, amazing. H takes g2, g4, b4, my fellow chessers, attacking the knight on c5, my fellow chessers. All right. Queen e7, attacking the knight on g5, my fellow chessers. Counter attack, my fellow chessers. All right. So f4, my fellow chessers, defending the knight on g5. Knight d7. All right. Bishop takes e6, f takes e6, knight takes e6, or knight d takes e6, my fellow chessers. At the same time, my fellow chessers, attacking the rook on d8, at the same time attacking the bishop on f8, my fellow chessers. All right, rook e8, c4. Ooh, pressure, my fellow chessers. D takes c4. Queen takes c4, attacking the king on c8, my fellow chessers. King to b8. Queen c7, my fellow chessers. King to a7, b5. Knight b6, my fellow chessers. Why Gukesh didn't take the pawn on b5, my fellow chessers? Like, for example, take a takes b5, and we have a4, my fellow chessers. Like a combo, my fellow chessers. I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say, my fellow chessers. All right, so let's continue the real game, my fellow chessers. Here, wait, my fellow chessers. b5. Knight b6, my fellow chessers. All right. A takes, b takes a6. Queen takes c7, my fellow chessers. Knight takes c7. At the same time, attacking the rook on e8, my fellow chessers. Rook c8, attacking the knight on c7. Rook a7, or rook a c1. B takes and takes a6, knight e6, bishop b4, rook takes c8, rook takes c8, rook e7, knight g5, attacking the pawn on f4. King takes g2, rook c3. King h2, mistake of Levon Aronian. The best continuation of this position is knight e4, king f2, or king h1, my fellow chessers. King h2, h4 mistake. The best continuation on this position is a5 or a5 or rook a3, or what? Rook h4. This is the best continuation. Rook a3 or a5. h4, knight e4, attacking the pawn on c3. Rook f3, attacking the pawn on f4. Knight f6, attacking the knight on d5. Knight e3, blunder of Gukesh, my fellow chessers. The best continuation on this position is knight e7, or knight c3, or knight b6, my fellow chessers. But the real game is knight e3, my fellow chessers. As you can see, the blunder of Gukesh, my fellow chessers. Why? Knight d4, very good move, attacking the rook on f3, my fellow chessers. Knight f1 check, attacking the king King G2, my fellow chessers. Rook takes F4. We have Knight C6 attacking the king on A6, A7 at the same time, attacking the bishop on B4, my fellow chessers. Alright, king to B7, knight takes B4. As you can see, Levon Aronian is one knight up, my fellow chessers, or one piece up, my fellow chessers. Alright. Knight G3, rook B2, preferring for knight D3, something like that. King C8, knight D5 or knight BD5, rook D4, E6, knight F5, rook F to Gukesh or world champion as of now, my fellow Kachashers 2025, as of now, alright? As of August 12, 2025, the world champion resigned the game, my fellow Kachashers. Why? As you can see, the evaluation bar here is white is winning, my fellow Kachashers. At the same time, my fellow Kachashers, Levon Aronian is one piece up, my fellow Kachashers. So that's all, my fellow Kachashers. Like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Chessers TV, and Chessers TV official team. Chessers TV official team. All right, my fellow Chessers. To God be all the glory. Praise Lord Jesus Christ.